Hi, welcome, welcome. So glad you've joined this evening. I'm so glad I got here. I had a little glitch I've been working on for about 40 minutes and had a wonderful guy from StreamYard help me out a little bit. Just my little Safari on my phone, the Safari app that you have to use for StreamYard. It was taking me to an old StreamYard, the previous broadcast, and wouldn't let me out of that studio and into this one. So every time I learned something new, but they were great over at StreamYard to help. So I finally got it figured out after 45 minutes. So I thought I started early this time. But I'm glad you've joined me, and I didn't get to fix my hair or anything. Y'all just have to bear with me. And hi, Rebecca. Glad you've tuned in. Thank you so much. Glad you can see. And hopefully, let's see if we've got the lighting where we kind of need it. We'll see if that helps a little. That seems a little brighter, hopefully. Yay. Well, I'm really glad to be here. I'm Kelly Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since 2005. And I am in Lubbock, Texas, and can have customers all over the whole United States. So that's an exciting part of being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. There's lots of perks because we get discounts, and we have a wonderful paper crafting community here in Lubbock, and I have lots of classes, and I've got several coming up. I'm going to tell you a little bit about those. We do, and then I've got a couple of announcement top things that I may do. Let me go ahead and do those too. While we're at it, I'm a little flustered because had some issues, but that's okay. Okay, coming up is September 10th. So if y'all are interested in the Paper Pumpkin, which is our monthly craft kit, that's a surprise. It is going to be treat boxes for Halloween. So if y'all are into Halloween and want to get a fun kit that has lots of goodies in it to play with, that's a great way to do it, is subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. And I've got my little, let me show you the little Paper Pumpkin subscription link here, or you can just go to my blog at createwithkelly.com and click on shop and go to the kits, and it'll take you to Paper Pumpkin. But I'm happy to help you with that if you're interested in subscribing for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or just a month to month. If you're new at Paper Pumpkin, I'd suggest just starting a month to month, and it's only $23.50 a month plus shipping. No, plus tax. Shipping is included in that, I believe. I'm, as I said, kind of flustered. Sorry about that. Okay, we also have a couple of other things coming up. We have Perfect Partners that's going on this month for the month of September. Stampin' Up! Has come up with 6 different dies that go with the stamp set that we already had in the catalog. So you may already have the stamp set, or you may be interested in getting the bundle now that they have dies. But that includes the Apple Blossoms dies, Fresh Cut Stems dies, that bundle, the This Birthday Piggy bundle, Trimming the Tree bundle, Waterfall Canyon bundle, and Yeti to Party bundle. So those are the ones that are up, and that's a brand new thing. So those are 10% off when you get the bundle. That's exciting. And we also have weekly deals that started this week. So September 1st through today, through the 7th, you'll have a list of weekly deals that you can find on when you go to my website or go to my Stampin' Up! Site, and it will tell you what the deals are. And then those deals will change on tomorrow. Actually, you can order through tonight, I guess at like till almost midnight Mountain Time, or right around that area. And I was going to tell you about the classes. I do have an Ollie class at 2 to 4 on September 13th. So if you're a member of Osher Lifelong Learning Center, let's switch the camera here since we're not looking at anything there. Well, you can see my mess. I didn't think that was going to be on camera. Okay, we've got a beginner's class. So if y'all are beginners and you're in the Lubbock area and you want to know a little bit more about stamping, I would love to be your demonstrator and help you with that. In fact, anybody out there, if y'all are interested in any of the Stampin' Up! Products, I'd love to be of service and be your demonstrator. Okay, on the 15th from 2 to 4 and 6 to 8, I'll have beginners classes. And that's the same class, so you can come either day or evening, whatever works best for you. And then I have a Create with Kelly Crew lunch, which is my group that I call Create with Kelly Crew. And we just sit and visit and enjoy each other's company and do kind of a show and tell of what we've been working on the last month, since our last monthly luncheon. And then I've got a Halloween class coming up. It's called Bewitching. That's the bundle that I'll be using, is the Bewitching bundle. And we will be doing some fun cards that I really want to show you, but I'm going to make you wait. I'm not sure how many kits I have left. I know I have several coming to class, and then I have several people coming to the class. So that's exciting. And that is on the 17th at 2. So if y'all are interested in that, give me a call or shoot me an email at kelly@createwithkelly.com. And that is Kelly with an EY, like it has up on the screen there. And I also have an intermediate class on September 19th from 6 to 8. And then we have an advanced techniques class that is on September 25th. So if any of you have been card making for a long time and want to try new techniques, that's what we do monthly at the Techniques Club. And then coming up on October 1st, we have World Card Making Day. So Stampin' Up! Is doing some virtual card making event that I can send you information about. If y'all want to find out more, you can go again to my createwithkelly.com and hit shop, and it'll take you to Stampin' Up! World and you can find out about that. It'll show up under promotions. Okay, I think, and also I just posted yesterday or day before, earlier this week, a Kylie Bertucci's International Highlights blog post that I actually enter this international highlights, and you can go in and vote for my card. I would love that. If you would like to look at the other cards that other demonstrators have made and check it out, I would love to have your vote. You can vote for up to 5 cards. And I have actually been in her top 10 twice this year, which is the first time ever. So that's really exciting to me, and I would love to be there again. But we're showing a card that's similar to the one that we do tonight. It was a kind of a watercolored one on watercolored paper, Falling Leaves. So I would love it if y'all would click on that and check that out. And we will switch the camera over, and let's see. Let's go ahead and just go. I'm going to switch this instead of, let's try this. Hang on a sec here, and we'll do it this way. Now I'm going to switch my cameras here. Hold on one sec. Let me figure this out. I should have switched these earlier. Okay. We're going to, hold on a sec here. Let me see if I can, there we go. Now we've got it. A little bit different way to do it, but this is the card we're going to be playing with tonight. This was from my Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper series, and got our little kit here. And what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can get this look. And this started off as black and white paper, and I have a little bit of that. I think the key word is little bit. That's in this Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper pack. This is number 159633. And you've seen several of the cards I've made and the papers that we've used. And I've used all but this little smidgen of this, but this is the black and white leaf. That's what we turn into the colored ones. So I was just going to show you real quick the other pages that we've used on other cards. And I've got 5 in this series, and those are all on my blog at createwithkelly.com. And I've also done videos of all of them. This is my 5th one, but we're going to take that paper and color it in. I've got a couple of different ways to show you that. And let me make sure I've got the one that's the right size. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to do this card a little bit different than I did my first card. I have done one since then that it was a different layout, but it had the little Stitched with Whimsy that I am using. I'm using several different die sets and stamp sets in this, and I'll show you those real quickly as we get started. I'm using on the inside of the card, I'm using this leaf from Painted Poppies, and that's number 151599. And that is the leaf right here that we're going to color in. And then I'm using the greeting on the inside, sending many thanks for all you do, from Happiness Abounds. And I am still missing, I cannot locate my stamp set and die set for this right here. It's still missing. So I've got to find that somewhere before we can use that. We're going to go ahead and use this Endlessly Grateful tonight. And that is from the Very Best Occasions set, number 159871. If you're interested in that, it's got a lot of greetings that are kind of year-round, some Christmas, some more Thanksgiving-ish, birthday, everything. And I'm using the Fabulous Frames dies, this one here. And that number, this is a great set, 159163. 159163. And on the outside of that, I'm using the Stitched with Whimsy die, the largest one. And I've got to move all of my little labels, 155314. I wish Stampin' Up! Would make that a lot bigger on their little deals there. And then I'm also using the stitched rectangle dies. So lots of goodies we're trying out tonight. That's exciting. Okay, I have already done the Stitched with Whimsy, like I said, to make it a little more like this card. I decided this one might be a little black. I like it with the coordination with this. It's kind of a chalkboard looking. And hello, Facebook user. Hi, Jennifer Hernandez. If y'all don't go on StreamYard and give permission for Facebook to show your name and photo, then I can't see who the comment is. So you kind of have to do that ahead of time. I meant to send a reminder today and have just been crazy getting everything ready. So I didn't get that done. All right, let's do our stamping first, and then we will get to our coloring, show y'all that technique. Grab my Stampin' Pierce mat here. And we're going to do Cajun Craze on the inside. Again, we've got lots of colors that we're going to use. See if I can keep some of this stuff in screen. It looks like it's a little pixelated tonight. I don't know what the deal is with that. Do y'all see that? Let me see if I'm going to clean my little lens. See if that helps. I had it at the phone doctor today. And he put a new screen protector on. So maybe it is in need of a clean. We're going to use Cajun Craze ink. I'm going to get some of this stuff out of the way. Quite sure y'all don't need to see all that pile. There we go. We'll just do that and this, and should be good to go. Okay, as I said, this is from the Happiness Abounds stamp set. I really like this sentiment, sending many thanks for all you do, because we've all got wonderful friends who just do a lot for everyone, and this would be a great one to send for that. Okay, then I'm going to use the Memento Ink. This is not really the one you use for watercoloring because it is water-based and it can kind of smear a bit, but it seems to work pretty well when I use the Memento for the leaf, and then I use the blender pens, which is what we're going to use tonight. We're going to use that on the inside. I'm just going to put a couple of leaves here. Let's get it where you can see a little better. Just going to stamp straight down, straight up. This is Memento Tuxedo Black. Let's see how we want to do that. Do we want to do two like this? I think we do. Just straight down, straight up. Give it a little pressure. You can do the leaves however you want. You can do another one up here if you want. Tonight we'll just stick with the two. Okay. Lost my leaf there. Get those out of the way. And we'll do our Endlessly Grateful. And that one I'm going to go ahead and do in Cajun Craze also. And a lot of you, or several of you, came to this class. I think I had 6 at the class and then 6 people who did the class to go kit. And I try to do that monthly, have it where I've got at least one kit that I have available as a class to go for those of you who can't make it to the actual class. So whenever you purchase the class to go or you come to the class, you get the PDF tutorials for free. Isn't that awesome? So all of those are done and posted, and you can find, those of you who didn't participate in the class or class to go, you can get the measurements on my blog at createwithkelly.com. It's just you won't get detailed instructions like they do when they purchase the class. So you might think about that next time. And I do have that available on the class to go. I have the PDF tutorials available for my Halloween class that's coming up for the Bewitching series. So that you are going to love that if you like Halloween. Okay. And if y'all remember, if you watched, it was last week or the week before maybe, we did this card. And this is the offcut, or the negative space versus positive space of the other card. So I just cut out one piece of paper, and now I still have that little square that it die cut out of the craft paper. This craft paper comes in 6x6 sheets, and I'm going to use that as a main focal point on the card. We're going to, I think we'll color that before I glue that in. But I'm going to show you my little trick, because the paper, I needed to stretch it and make it go as far as it could. And it was 12 by 12, 12 inches by 12 inches. So I cut it to 3 by 4. And 4 was not quite enough for this frame. It would stick out on the top or the bottom just a little bit. And so I remedied that by putting some basic black cardstock behind it. And I'll show you if I can find my little silicone mat here to glue on. I'll get this out of the way. And we'll grab some of our liquid glue. And I'm going to glue, let's see which, I think that's the cut side. So we're going to glue just right around the edge of this. Get that going a little better. Need a little pen to clean out my glue. That'll work if y'all use these little containers for your glue, whatever your favorite liquid glue is. Sometimes it comes out too fast, too much, too fast. And so I'll just put it in a smaller container, and that helps a lot. But if it does get clogged up, you can just use a little pen to unclog it like that. And if you'll keep the lid on it, if you have these kind of little guys, and if y'all are coming regularly to my classes and making purchases from my Stampin' Up store, I'm happy to give you one of those whenever you buy whatever your favorite glue is. And I'm going to put this on the back, and this gives me a little wiggle room, so I've got time to flip it over. Make sure you can see what we're doing here. And what I did was kind of sneaky. I'm just moving that down to where it's even. I'm going to move that just a little bit where it's kind of even with that little point on both of them. I think this one needs to come a little bit more too. And that way, of course, I should have done a little bit better job. We'll have to clean that glue up shortly. But see, now I have the black on there, which covers up the fact that that didn't go all the way. Now, if you had done this with seal, you would not be able to peel this up, but I did it with the liquid glue and it's still sticky, but it will move. So I wanted that kind of even there. Then we're going to glue this to that after we get it colored. And then we'll just attach this to this. And if, boy, it may need the black. Or it needs something brighter. We may have to go back to our little black frame behind it and just have this barely sticking out on the sides. Of course, I didn't try it before we went on the air. We may just flip that over and do this as that as the back or the inside. We can always put this on the inside like that if we want to, or we can just choose another one that I already have cut. And we'll just use that stitched with whimsy another time. So we'll just switch back to the plain Jane card base. And this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Typical card base. This one wasn't a fun fold like I usually do or often do. Okay, so right now we're just gonna stick with the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and get this black on. We'll just center that. And I just put it around the edges and a little squiggle in the middle. And I'm just centering that in this area. We're going to stick with our plan A. I'm going to let y'all pick if we want to use a different ribbon shortly. Okie dokie. Now for the fun part. There's, like I said, a couple of different ways that we can do this. And hopefully I've got what I need in here to do it a couple of different ways. I'm going to move that, and we'll move this one since we're not doing that. I did these two different ways, and I don't know if you can tell that. This one is done with a water painter and ink, and I'm going to show you how to get ink on your block and then color with the water painter to get this look. And then this look, which is very, very similar, but to me, it's a little bit easier. And this is what we tried at our techniques class recently, where we used our watercolor pencils. And you just scribble with the pencil, put the color on, and then we use a blender pen to blend that. So you can see this one might be a little lighter, but I went back over it a couple of times to get that deep, rich color, just because I like a lot of color. So I'm going to show you both of these techniques. We're not going to finish two different ones, but I'm going to at least show you how to do this one, and then I'm going to finish it like we did with the blender pens. But we're going to go ahead and let's see. I think since I don't have a Mary Merlot pencil, watercolor pencil, I don't believe I've got cherry cobbler. So let's go ahead and try. We're going to use a block, and this is our water painter, and they do twist off the opposite way that you think they would. So this is the way I do this. I'm going to show you. Let's get a scratch paper here. Underneath here to protect the surface. Now we're going to move that a little further out of your way. Got this where we can use it later. And you just simply take a block and put it on your ink pad. And that's probably way more than we needed. But it'll be good. All right, and then you push on the water painter. You just fill this with water. It twists off, like I said, the opposite way that you think it would. But they work great. And it comes with 3 in a set, and they all have different tips. So you just push right where it says push, and you can see the water come down onto the brush. And you can use, if you've got just a paintbrush of some kind, you can certainly use it. This is just handy to already have the water in here. And we're just going to take and color this big leaf. And you can't use just a whole ton of water on this paper because it's not designed for that. But see, if you get enough ink on your block, you can definitely get some color on your leaves. So you just don't want to go back over and over and over it, and you don't want it too watery, or your paper is going to buckle. And it doesn't hurt if it buckles a little bit. But you can see you don't have to be totally careful about this, because it's really going to show up more where the paper is white. Because when it goes onto the black, it really doesn't show up that much that you've kind of gone out of the lines. It's not really a big deal. But we're going to do these leaves in the Mary Merlot and just kind of go over the stems. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just, it's a handmade card. So there you go. The recipient will be thrilled to have a handmade card from you. They will not talk about how you colored out of the lines. I guarantee it. Or you need to change friends. Oh my goodness. Okay, so so you could have a block with each different ink color that you wanted to play with, experiment with, and do it this way. And what I recommend is picking a certain type of leaf, because the leaves are scattered out in different areas. So just kind of pick the same leaf and color all those in at once. And then you'll clean your water brush or your blender pen and go to the next color, which is the same, a different leaf, but all the same, if that makes sense. Alrighty, there we go. See, we got some rich color out of that. That was a lot. That's a deep color, that Mary Merlot. And I think that's all of those we have. And then you just squeeze, you push where it says push on the pencil or blender, aqua painter, water painter. Oh goodness, Kelly, get your words right. Words are hard. All right. See, you can tell that now it's kind of running clear, so it would be ready for the next color. All right. So we can certainly do that. I'm going to set that aside. We better clean that off before I make a big mess with it. Ah, we should have done one of our leaves on the inside with it. But we'll do something different. Didn't think about it. Okay. So that, instead of getting all the blocks out here for y'all to have to look at, I thought it would be easier to show you the other way to do it. To do something like this where you can alter your designer series paper easily. And we're going to use, let's use some Daffodil Delight, and we'll use Pumpkin Pie. And these pencils show the color on them. So we've got Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use some Old Olive, maybe not. And probably, let's see, we've got Pumpkin Pie. We've got 2 different sets of watercolor pencils, and they're very reasonable. I think this set has 13 in it, and it's about $16. And then this one has 10 in it, and it's about $12, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but that's pretty close. Now we've got crushed curry, and let's do Cajun craze. Let's see, that's here. And I think that's all we used out of there. I think that'll be plenty. If we decide we want more, we'll get more. But these are two different sets. Like I said, this one has 10, and these are all different colors than there were in the original set. And this is watercolor pencils assortment number 2. And it is item number 149014. And this other set that was the original set with the quantity of 13 is assortment 1, or it just says watercolor pencils, and 141709. Unless that's an old one. I've had these a long time, so I'm not sure if they've updated that number, but it should get you there. All righty. Now, what we're going to do is just pick a leaf color, and I'm just going to do this one in pumpkin pie. Hopefully I'm not shaking the table too much and shaking the camera, since it's all attached to the same place. Hope y'all are doing great, having a good week. Thank you, Janice. I'm glad you like them. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to put y'all all in a drawing. I'm actually going to give away, I think I'm going to do it in October. I haven't announced it enough to even let people know. But the people who came to my crafty open house and everybody who's been to classes since, and then everybody who's shared, is getting a ticket into the drawing. And then everybody who comes to my September and October classes will have a chance to win a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that's exciting. I decided to go ahead and extend it into October, like I said, instead of September, just September, because this month is going quickly by. So y'all have several chances to win, and I really appreciate you sharing. I'm really trying to build my business and figure out all this technology stuff, and kind of do a little more online as well as my local classes. And this really helps for y'all to spread the word and share it on your own timeline, and let folks know that, whoops, I want some greeny apple green. I like a little bit brighter green. I'm a bright girl. If y'all have watched any of my cards, y'all know that I like them bright. Okay, let's see. We have several of these. I'm going to do the bright green on that. And y'all can do whatever you want. And if you start with one color and you decide that's too bright, you can dull it down with adding another color over it. You can layer it, and you can color it, and then we'll use a blender pen on it, and I'll show you that. So it doesn't matter that you're just kind of scribbling. You don't have to go really, really hard with this to get a ton of color now, because the blender pen will blend that out. Sometimes the blender pen kind of softens it, and sometimes it brightens it. It just totally depends on the color itself of that pencil. So that's kind of fun to play with and learn what your different colored pencils do. We have one that's Melon Mambo that is, whoa, practically neon. It is so bright. It's unbelievably bright. All right, I think I've done all of those leaves. I have. So let's do some Cajun Craze. We haven't done that color yet. And you definitely don't have to have a sharp point. In fact, it's better if you kind of have a little bit of a dull point to use. That doesn't sound right. Dull point. That sounds like, is that an oxymoron? That's where it's the opposite. Or doesn't seem right. I can't remember if that's the right word, oxymoron, or not. Y'all have to let me know. But it feels very therapeutic to me. It's very relaxing to just sit and color. It just reminds you of when you were a kid and got to sit and color. How fun was that? And then we couldn't wait to grow up at the time. Okay, I guess I'm not a dull. Well, do we want that to be? I guess I'll try this duller green, even though we have a lot of the other green. We might mix this green and a little brown. And you can mix your colors together if you want on each of these. I'm just trying tonight to kind of show you how it works. And these are our blender pens that have glycerin and water in them already. And you don't want to press down really, really hard on this point, but you do want to clean it each time. So you can see that now it's clean. And I always start with my lighter colors, which would be the yellow. So see how that is blending that out, and all those little scribbly marks are kind of going away and it is becoming smooth. Can y'all see the difference there in the yellow, how smooth that is compared to the others? Okay, and then every time in between, even if I'm going to a darker color kind of in the same family, I usually go ahead and clean it because it's good to get in that habit. Because you wouldn't want to go from, like, you could do orange to yellow or yellow to orange, but probably you wouldn't want to mix these two. You're going to get, if it's on the opposite ends of the color wheel, you're going to get into a brown, and which is fine when you're doing leaves, but some other things, it's not so fun. See how much that brightened up? Isn't that pretty? How that brightened up that orange. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just all about playing. Now I am going to take that orange into this darker one because it'll just be a little bit brighter on this one, but all leaves are not the same color, so that works just fine. So each one could be a little bit different, and you could go back and add a little more color with the pencil on top. You can blend again after you've added color on top, whatever you want to do. Now we're going to take this into the green without cleaning that one. So hopefully I don't forget. See, that's just how that went to brown, because I didn't take the orangey kind of color out of the green. Okay, now we're going to go to the bright green. We've got our blender pen clean again. We're just going to do all of those really quickly. I've got several of this, my pretty granny apple green. I like this color. And the shading is already there. The Stampin' Up! Artist has already put the lines and speckles and kind of texture into the paper, so you don't have to worry about it. But you don't, with the blender pen, the paper doesn't get as wet as it does with using the aqua painter, so you don't have to worry about the paper buckling or anything. I'm going to give that a little bit greener stem. There we go. I'm not happy with that little mister there. Let's see, what do we want to put on him? We might want to put, let's just put a cherry cobbler on him. See how different that is from the Mary Merlot color that we had. We're going to show you, you can change things up. See, now it has a hint kind of similar to that, but yet it's a different color. Let's go ahead and try the blender pen on it and see where we get. You got to get all the green off. You just always need to have your scratch paper handy when you're using this technique. See, that kind of just pulled it off. Sometimes it softens, sometimes it brightens, sometimes it just takes the color off. So it's interesting to play with. But most of the time, these blender pens are just an awesome way to do this. I really, really have forgotten how fun it is to play with these. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in. Whoops, I'm going to let that dry a little bit more, and then I'll color a little bit more on there. But overall, I'm happy with that. Let's let y'all look a little closer. Isn't that pretty? I do too, Jennifer. I love the way the blender pen smooths out the colors. That is, I agree. Thank you for sharing your comment. I appreciate that. Okay, I think that's all there is to that. Pretty easy, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as my friend Amy says. Okay, we are going to move all these out of the way and get this card assembled so we don't keep you all night. How about that? All right, now I'm just going to adhere. I'm going to put the glue just on the edge of this, and then we're going to lay this on it. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate you making a comment there about the pretty card. I appreciate that. I'm glad y'all like my designs. I spend a lot of time working on designs, and I'm thrilled that y'all are happy with them. Y'all should have seen Susan Little's reaction. She loves Halloween stuff. She's my customer, longest lasting customer who just loves Halloween. So I showed her those Halloween cards and she literally squealed. It was just quite rewarding. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Okay, so we're just going to center that in that area right there. Get that glued on, and since it's a liquid glue, we kind of have a little wiggle room. There we go. We almost covered up all that Merlot one. I think we're going to cover this little guy up. We're going to turn it that way. Since the leaves are going every which way, it doesn't really matter which way you turn that. All right, we're going to find our little card base that I moved out of the way. Here we go. And I would recommend raising this up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And I forgot to do one thing. We still need our little aqua painter out for a minute. I'm going to show you how I did this texture on the leaf. So we'll move that. For the moment, I'm going to use our black. We have black Stampin' Dimensionals and white Stampin' Dimensionals. So since this is dark and we're mounting it to black, we're going to go ahead and use the black ones. And I'm going to use this. We're going to put the leaf right about here. So I'm going to go up above that with this. And y'all can take the backings off with your fingernails, or you can use your take a pick tool. However y'all like to get those little backings off. And before I did that, we should have decided about our ribbon to see if y'all wanted to use, I may just use the linen thread since I've already got those backs off. I really like that technique, but we could use this ribbon instead. This is called woven ribbon. Imagine that. We could do that, or we could do the black and white instead, if y'all like that. And thanks, Jennifer, for that. I saw that comment just a teeny bit late, but I caught it before I put it on. Or we could use the white, but that's pretty bright with that. I think the more natural looks better with it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal to go on the edges. That's my sweet husband saying looking good. And thanks, Jennifer, for helping me with that ribbon deal there. We're going to use a little Stampin' Seal here. Try to get that where y'all can see it. And I just kind of do it on the side and wrap it around a couple of times. Let's move this one down and cross that one over. And I'm just going to cut that off. So we get that stuck really well onto that Stampin' Seal, which is darn sticky stuff. And then we can just put this bow, we'll kind of wrap that around this and stick it through the leaf and kind of put it on here. This way we can move, if we want to move where this connects, we can still do that. So we'll go ahead and do this right here. There we go. And I'm going to do, let's see, I usually cut about 8 inches or so for each bow. So I'm doing 16 inches. And then I'm going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to tie our, whoops, nope, I need to go through my leaf. And we haven't done that yet. Okay, we've got another step here, peeps. Are you hanging with me? Not sure. Yeah, we've still got time before our hour is up. Okay, let me find my little leaf embellishment. And this is from a set that is the Leaf Label and Amber Gem Combo Pack. Leaf Label and Amber Gem Combo Pack. And it is item number 159969. And it has a total of 50 pieces. I think there are 20 something of the leaves and 30 of the gems. I'm not exactly sure. And on this one, I forgot to do my timber embossing folder like I used on the other one. So it's going to look a little different, but we're going to go ahead and give this a little bit of color. And the last one I used the water painter and the inks, but this one I think I'm going to just go ahead and use some of the pencils. And I'm just going to we're just going to experiment and see how this is. I'm kind of using the side here. I'm just going to kind of get some color on here and splotches, and we're going to wad it up. Anyway, crumple it so that we get some texture to it. Okay, there's cherry cobbler. We're going to add a little orange in there. How fun is this? This really feels like you're doing a Thanksgiving scene or something, doesn't it? We'll just see what happens when we get the blender pen onto this. It's probably a lot of it's going to turn brown because you're mixing so many colors, but we're just going to play and see what happens. I may use the aqua painter instead, but let's start with this and just see what happens. We're just coloring like a kid. And I'm kind of going in the direction of that particular portion of the leaf, if that makes sense. Kind of each little section kind of coloring like that. We'll see. And then if we need a little more of some color, see how it all went to brown together? Okay. Get a little more of the bright in there. Okay. And now, uh-oh, I lost my screen. I hope I didn't lose the whole. There we go. Whew. Couldn't see it. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so y'all can see I've just got it all scribbly. But what we're going to do, we're just going to wad it up. I bet you don't see that very often. You don't see demonstrators just kind of wad up their work. But this is a fun way to get that crumpled effect. And I wadded it up one way, increased it. Now I'm going to turn it over, flip it over, and wad it up this way. Just making little bitty pieces and little bitty kind of creases and crumples and whatever you want to call it. And thanks again, everybody, for watching. And please do share on your timeline. It looks like everybody is watching on Facebook this time. I don't have anybody on YouTube, so hopefully that broadcast is going okay too. There we go. Now see how much texture, how much more that looks like a real leaf? Isn't that fun? Now with the timber embossing folder, it evens that out quite a bit. And see, I used a little more green on this one right here, where you've got, you can see where the timber embossing folder was. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing. I will, you've already got one of these card kits. I'll have to give you another card kit. Okay, there we go. We're going to put a little linen thread through there, add our greeting, and we shall be done. And I'm going to run that through there. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get all this out of the way. Move this over. See what all we can move. Okay, now I'm going to hook this onto here. And we're just going to wrap this around. Make a little small bow. And if you're not great at bow tying, you can always tie your bow and glue dot it on after you've looped this and loop your leaf through that other where we initially put it. You could just do it that way. So whatever works for you. Or you could just do a knot if you want. If you're not a bow gal. We're going to trim that just a teeny bit to kind of even it out with that other side. And then we're going to see if we like this Endlessly Grateful. We may have to, probably should have done that in a Mary Merlot. We might try that to kind of tie this in a little better. Or I may just dull that down. Let's take our Cajun Craze. We're going to cross our fingers on this one. There we go. We're going to dull that down with the Cajun Craze so it doesn't stand out so bright compared to this. I mean, it was dark and bright, but this kind of adds a little bit more of that Cajun color in there so that this works better. Do y'all see what I mean? I don't know if you can tell the difference in it than the way it was, but I like that better. Ooh, I have to have a sip of water real quick. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to, I guess, use white dimensionals on this white one. And we're going to use a little bit of, I'm going to use some glue dots underneath the leaf to hold that down. If I can find my take pick tool, it would be great. I don't see it at the moment, so we're just going to use this little bone folder right here. That does not work as well. Just going to stick that. There it is. Okay. Just going to put a couple of those down. I want to leave a lot of the edges kind of crumpled up and sticking up. I think that's part of the appeal. Part of what makes it look really leafy. Y'all think my leaf looks leafy? Hey, Janice, thank you for sharing. Let me write those down that y'all two shared. And I will try to get y'all something in the mail. I still haven't mailed last week's, but I have my note here of Janice and Kay, I believe, shared last time. So I'm going to put, let's see what the date is today. The 7th, 8/7. We're going to say Jennifer and Janice shared. So we'll send y'all a card or a card kit, one or the other. Awesome. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Oh, Becky's watching on YouTube, so that's great too. And y'all let your friends know. If I know some of our peeps don't do Facebook, so they can watch it on YouTube. So y'all be sure and you can share it over there too and let them know. Let your friends know they can watch it on YouTube if they're not YouTube peeps. See, that changes the personality of it just a bit using that banner. Oops. Hopefully I've got the right thing there. I'm trying to pull out. Yeah. Now I'm going to glue dot that knot down so that doesn't come undone on us. Just kind of stick a glue dot behind it, and that'll kind of tame that just a tad. And now all we lack are the amber gems. Here we go. And our take your pick tool. And I always use the putty end. I really like this, using the putty. Just make sure don't screw this top. Whenever you're putting the lid on this, you just take it on, take it off. And these take your pick tools are just $10, and they're awesome. They have this end twists off where you have a little spatula to scoop things up, or if you stick something, you can get this under the paper and try to peel it up that way. And so I usually use the pointy end more. And then it also comes with a scoring tool that you can flip in and out of there. So you do get to take your pick. But when this putty gets like that, you just kind of mash it on the end, or that's what I do. I just kind of mash it where I can get to it right. And I'm going to use one of these big ones right here at the top. I think that really sets off that black. That just really works for me. Hopefully it does for you too. Dang, and my leaf covers up this end. I guess we won't do it there. We're going to do this one a little bit differently, aren't we? I think we'll put one. Where do we want him? Oops. Now, if you ever get too much of this putty like that, just peel it off of your gem, and you can just stick it back on there. You don't want that on the top of your gem. See, I'm just peeling that back off. She says, struggling. But there we go. Now I'm just going to stick that back on there. And we'll just use, whoops. There it is. Because it's not, there we go. All right, where do we want this one? I kind of think we want it down here. But it could go a lot of different places. We're just going to make sure that sticks because it's got some putty on it. I may have to do a little surgery on that one. Or we'll get a glue dot. We'll just get one of these glue dots. And it's a little big. So we're going to kind of wad it up so it doesn't stick on the outside of this gem. We're going to take that. And that's just going to give it a little more depth. If that's too much, you can kind of cut back on your glue dot. You can actually cut them in half if you want. But there we go. How about that for a card with the Rustic Harvest? This is my last one. I just wanted to get this series done. And we're going to have a Halloween series called Bewitching. And it's the Bewitching bundle. Becky, that's so funny, Rebecca. This makes me want to run to the craft room and start working. Do it, do it, do it. That's fun. That's what these are for, is to get you going. All right. Oh, we never did color our other leaves. Well, at least y'all know how to do that. You would do that with the blender pen just like you did on the other. So we'll just put that inside and voila, we'll pretend that this one is that one. That's all you need to do is just color those in with your blender pens like we did on this one. Anybody have any questions or anything for me before we close this out? Thank y'all again. And sorry, I was like maybe 1 minute late or something. I was kind of panicking right before, but I'll get that figured out way early next time. I thought half an hour was plenty early, but we shall see. Now it was a phone issue and not a Facebook or StreamYard issue. So thank y'all again for tuning in, and I'll go back to double screen here where you can see us both. Thanks again. And if anybody happens to know where my little where the little set is, if y'all can think of a place that I haven't looked for this set, that would be great. I need some help with that. That die and stamp set are just eluding me still. So anyway, thank y'all for this, and look forward to some Halloween cards very, very soon. A lot of fun times ahead, and please go subscribe to my blog at createwithkelly.com. And thanks again. I'm Kelly Pitts, Stampin' Up! Independent, easy for me to say, independent demonstrator here in Lubbock, Texas. Thanks, Rebecca. I'm glad you're coming to the Halloween class. And Jennifer, thanks for the compliments. Thanks, everybody, for sharing. And I'll try to get those kits out. I think I have everybody's address for that. So y'all have a great week. Fun times ahead. Thanks again. Bye-bye.